Hi, everyone. So, first, if you like this channel, please like and subscribe. There's a little bell thing over there, and it gives you notifications so that you can get notified when I go live. And thank you very much for everybody for all your kindness, support, and love. Today, I'm going to be talking about how I got through love and kindness. Um, if you follow me, you'll know like the last week has been really rough. So as a recap to anybody new to the situation, um, we had a death in the family. It was really rough. We're getting through. And in that rough time, there were many, many kindnesses that were shown to me and to Pierce to be able to get through. And it was so phenomenal. It was so kind and so beautiful. And it was appreciated so much. Um, Hi, y'all. Um, so today I had an appointment that I was a little sketched out about. Not gonna, pull any punches. It was a mammogram and an ultrasound because got lumpy boobs. Um, and I think it's always a little, scary when you're going up and getting that checked out. Um, so I was kind of not feeling it at all. So what I decided to do is pack a couple backpacks full of the supplies I had that you guys have lovingly donated and given to me to be able to hand out to people. And it lifted my heart. It really did. Being able to give to other people and make their day better made my day better. It made everything that I was feeling a little better. And I think that I hope that that gives hope to other people that, acting, when you pull yourself together and you get your mode about you, your way of being, and you come back and you analyze and think, okay, and even in situations where love and kindness hasn't been shown, pulling yourself back up and understanding that you can still give of your love and kindness that's not going to get used up. And the more that I show that, the more comes back at me. And it's just really just this touching thing to be able to be part of a cycle instead of dysfunctional and awful and abusive, to be in a cycle of beauty and kindness and compassion and love, and to be able to promote that. And I'm very thankful for that. I am thankful for the people that help and support me while I do it. And I'm so thankful for having love and kindness in this world to be able to hold on to get through. I am so appreciative of strangers I've met, people I've met on here, people I've met in life that have just pulled me around to show me that even in the depths, there is a vein of love and kindness. And if you can tap into it, you it can lift you up. And so I just wanted to share that with everybody about how beautiful it was today to go and see people and bring them supplies. I do, though, need to add denture glue to the list. I got to remember that because there's a gentleman who has asked for it several times and I keep forgetting. And just he's working. I actually got there and he had 5 minutes off, so I got to see some of the other people that I give supplies to. It was really great. And that makes me happy. It makes me happy that we're going to bring joy. And I just want to say thank you to Justina for this beautiful blue sweater. I love it. It's really pretty. And Kat, I want to thank you because I gave away one of the backpacks you sent, and it was wonderful. And to Yvette and to Roxanne. Rowan loves her toy. It's amazing. She's getting so much fun out of it. And then Yvette and Yvonne and everybody that has sent supplies and donations, and John, and then Kate is sending gift cards to Costco. So I'm gonna get to go into Costco and pick up some tents for people and more me supplies. So like my head's just like, yay! Just getting to be able to give people, some hope, some shelter, some warmth, because it is getting freezing. And I don't like cold, and I know several people don't like cold out there. So let's get them warm and show some love. So what I'm going to do is when I get off of here and it processes and everything, I'm going to get back on descriptions, and I'm going to put in two links. One is to my PayPal account. If you feel like donating monetarily, it helps with me getting supplies out. It also helps with me and Rowan. If not, there's also an Amazon wish list that I'm going to post, and that is supplies. I put things on there that I think will be helpful to hand out and things that people need. Sometimes special requests that they have. There's a range of prices on there for things, and it comes here and they get donated and handed out. I'm also going to put a mailing address. So if anybody wants to send any packages personally, then that's also appreciated. And if none of those things, your messages of love and support and kindness mean the world. Thank you so much. It doesn't have to be things or monetary stuff. Just show love out there. But if you are able, I'm going to post those links. If you're not able, don't feel bad and don't say sorry. It's a thing. So I'm going to read some comments, and if anybody has any questions, I will answer them. And then I'm probably going to get off and enjoy my night coffee. So let me do that. Question for you, if you are okay with it, of course. How many months did you live out under the bridge? Okay, I got to East Lake, and we lived under the East Lake Bridge from November of 2016 to February of 2017. And February of 2017, our camp was swept, and we lost almost everything in the camp. I took what we could as far as camp supplies, and we moved out into the jungle, and we lived under a bridge there until I was housed, which was February of 2019. So it was a minute. It was definitely a minute. And just so everybody knows, shelters are not for everybody. I don't do shelters. Number one, brain injury makes it my brain injury, because everybody's is different. Mine makes it very hard to be around people that are having behavioral issues of their own, and to feel not safe. And that's an issue in shelters. And then also I'm immunosuppressed, which means there's communicable illnesses that go around there, and it's just not a safe place. So try really hard not to judge people who aren't going into shelter. Like, there is some choices that need to be made. It's not just, walk in and everything's taken care of. It doesn't work like that. So, what kind of things do I like that I can send you personally? I know you like nice things, or should I just send you money for you and the dog and you can do shopping? That's the thing is I don't know. I don't know. I like art supplies. I do painting. I do acrylic and watercolor. Anything photography, of course, because I have my own photography website. Oh my gosh, and cool news, got asked to do a wedding shoot this next summer. So I'm very, very excited about that. Pretty much I like from the heart. I'm a huge coffee drinker. Rowan likes pretty much anything dog. She's really not picky. She loves bones, treats. Although she doesn't like peanut butter. She's not a fan. I don't know. I've gotten some of the peanut butter treats, and she doesn't particularly she doesn't particularly care for them. Any other questions? Oh, it is wonderful. Yeah. Rowan likes anything dog. She does, though. She does. I today we were at the thing, and she was wearing her little sweatshirt that says "Mommy's Little Princess," and at the Cancer Care Alliance, they gave her a little um, bandana for being a service dog that has their logo on it. It was absolutely adorable. So she got a new bandana today. It was like, yay. I almost missed. Whew, I so appreciate how you teach. My ex just told me he wants to reach out in Tacoma next week to reach out and help. Oh, that's wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. That's great. Yeah, in Tacoma, definitely, really anywhere you can run up and down. And we have got a huge displaced population. So yeah, that's absolutely wonderful. I so appreciate it, Kate. You're amazing. Me and my family have a small homeless ministry, and we hand out supplies when we have them. Do you have any advice on how to raise awareness in a semi-small community? Okay. In rural communities, there is a huge issue with the leading families, honestly, the people who have been there forever. And so what's going on is you're having a population that will take care of quote unquote their own. And so those who are left without support systems, and then a lot of times, if you look, adverse childhood experiences, kids that were in foster care who don't have families often get left in that gap. And so what happens is they become a community that takes care of their own, and then they don't have the resources for people that are excluded from that own. And so they run into problems getting resources, they run into problems all over the place, and it becomes almost like a class system where they're shunned as well. So we need to do work on educating people as to what drives displacement, that it can happen to any of us, that many, many times there are factors long before homelessness that are going to lead to that. So I think education is huge. Overcoming stereotypes is massive. People love to take, it's so strange. They love to take a story about a homeless person doing something wrong and just run with it when you've got 50 others in the community that were housed that did that. It's like, well, we're skewing data and promoting stereotypes. And I think that we need to put things into perspective. I saw it the other day just on a chat room where, they were discussing, and actually a man posted a very, very good resource. And it was about crime in the area. And I looked on there, and there was only 14 crimes committed by a homeless person. And he was saying that it had risen and all these other things. And all those crimes were pretty much property crimes. And as I pointed out the data, and I was like, out of the hundreds of crimes, you're looking at a population of 50, 60,000 people, and there's 14 property crimes. We need to be real. Look at the real data. Educate people about the reality of what's going on. It hurts my heart when people are so gung-ho about panhandle. I heard somebody say to look at a panhandler's hands, and if they're swollen, they're an addict. As somebody with edema, I was just heartbroken. Really? Like, these little things, and overcoming that and saying, invest in people, invest in human beings. We talk so much, and let's invest in this company and that company. And, and look at Wells Fargo. Seriously, look at what they've done. They should all be in prison. And yet we will invest in them. and divest from other human beings that really need it. It just always kind of shocks me in that the perception of morality almost being a part of poverty, where people look at crimes committed, like these horrific crimes created by these companies, and they will invest in them all day long. And then you see somebody who has had tragedy befall them many times, and to invest in that takes, some serious consideration. And most times it's less than their soda pop. It's just kind of like, it strikes me as funny, but that's me. But education. So that was that was a really long answer to a very short question. I apologize. Let's see. Yep, I have a wish list on Amazon. What's my favorite childhood memory? Um, wow, that is actually a really, really hard question for me. Um, as far as childhood goes, it would probably be the Christmases with my foster parents. I can't remember one that is a favorite memory. Um, Other than I've always liked the shiny stuff on the trees, and I've always thought decorating trees are beautiful. So I guess it would have to be that. And cookies. I've always liked Christmas baking, and that's kind of like a holiday thing for me. It's like, because for me, cooking and baking is artwork. So I get to take that and transform it into like this holiday thing and a theme, which makes it even better. Like I've even been thinking about like, I'm gonna make a gingerbread house, but I don't have any kids. So it's like, who can I make the gingerbread house for? And I'm like, I'll just make it cuz. All right, next question. Have you ever worn an unused plastic garbage bag as clothing? Okay. Yes, but not in the way you're thinking. When I was young in Montana, when we take fishing trips, they would have trash bags for us kids for when it'd start raining. And then we would just put our arms through and put our head through. And if we needed, we just. So when I was a kid, but no, when I was displaced or homeless, whatever you want to call it, is no, I did not use garbage bags as clothing. I did, however, layer with Mylar. And I get cold very easily, and it's very, very hard to warm up. And so the cold was just horrid, horrific. It really wrecks you. Like you have to have something between you and the ground. So what I'd do is I'd put on a t-shirt, and I would take the Mylar and I'd fold it like this. So it was like that, like folded in half. And then I'd cut a hole out, like, and make it a poncho, and then stick my sweatshirt on over that. And then, use hot hands as needed, because everybody was really great about giving me hot hands because, being almost 40 outside is it's a kicker. Let's see. Thank you for your advice. Okay. Will you ever wear them as clothing or make some videos about wearing them? Here's the thing. The issue with trash bags is it's plastic. And even though as homeless people or displaced people or myself, we're trying to get away from plastic. I mean, there's already garbage, and plastics and plastics that don't degrade are a serious problem right now. So unless it was a eco type, then probably not. And I probably wouldn't promote that just because of climate and what we're doing. We really should get away from that stuff. Do I have a relationship with any of my foster families? Yeah, absolutely. Amazing story, actually. This is actually something that's very, very close to my heart. My first foster sister was named Sherry, and she is this beautiful, light, amazing woman, like phenomenal. And she was great as a sister. And when I was older, a few years ago, actually, she got a hold of me on Facebook, and we talked before, like years before. And she let me know because when I was a teenager, I was a runaway for a while from the foster system and hitchhiked across country, really crazy story. But in that, she knew a lot of that. And so what she did is she started a program called Tumbleweed, and it has helped a lot of runaways get off the streets and be safe. And she did that knowing my story and to help others that were in my situation. So I have a good relationship with her. I absolutely love her so very much. Um, my foster parents, Rick and Julie, um, I do have a relationship, but it's real spotty. Um, After my brain injuries, people that really couldn't understand the difficulties that I was having or were very dismissive or would brush it off, I really did kind of cut those people out of my life. I needed a chance to heal and not to feel guilty about being sick and to feel like that was, worthless. So I still talk to them. I love them. Julie, I call her mom. Then after that, I live with my cousins. Yeah, I talk to them when I go up into Troy and stuff. And then after that, yeah, no, there was no other foster families except Joanne, and she died. So, yeah, so that was my relationship with them. And okay, let's see. Thank you, Kat. I appreciate that. We'll show that. Let's see there. I appreciate it. Kat just posted the Amazon wish list for everybody. Okay. And you could have lived in the local woods and built a real cool bug out incognito camp. Okay, Daniel, you would like to think that. Here's the thing. If you go out in the woods here, this is the Pacific Northwest, you're going to get a lot of dead trees. Now, if you build outside of being under a bridge, which I was going to do, I was all for, you have windstorms coming through that are insane and they will just blow them down. So if you aren't underneath the ground, you will be squashed unless you have some sort of roof. To be able to start building, you need tools. I came to Seattle with the camera. It takes a while to build up those tools because you can't afford to eat, let alone to buy hammers and nails and all of that. Pallets oftentimes were used for burning. It seems like there was a man out there who had a cabin built. He'd also been there 12 plus years. Your focus when living outdoors like that is to get housed, to get warm, to get to a safe and stable habitat because you are not mentally well. Usually you're traumatized. So as much as everybody says you can do this, I actually at the end had a rechargeable drill and a saw, and then I got housed and I'd cut up wood I was going to frame. But the thing is, unless you know how to frame and you know how to do that, it's not a skill everybody has. I didn't have the skills for building like that, but man, I was going to look it up. But that's one person. Not everybody is that kind of person. And if they spend time trying to do that, they'll die. And they will just die out there because they won't be able to get the other things they need. If you have to leave every day to gather supplies to eat and drink and everything else, there's really not that much time to build. And if you do take 1 or 2 days for building, are you going to go without eating and drinking on those days? These are things you got to think of because those are real things and people don't have supplies. And that's why we try to get them supplies so that they have things so that they don't have to worry and they can start to do that. And plus, just to let you know, if you are in the outskirts of Seattle and they catch you trying to build anything, they will sweep your camp so fast. Just letting you know. Like, it doesn't matter if it's out there. They have people that report every time they see a camp. And if they see you building, they will report you and you will be swept. How did I get my brain injuries? Okay, yeah, actually, yeah, it doesn't, the brain injuries, it doesn't bother me talking about them. My first brain injury was when I was 19 years old, and it was a domestic violence situation. And my first ex-husband threw me into a radiator, caused seizures and some issues afterwards. I didn't really back then, it wasn't like nobody even thought about, I didn't even think about how I could have been acting different or whatever. Second one. Okay, the second head injury was, and these are adult. I'd had some when I was a child, but these are my adult ones. Um, my second brain injury was in Toma, and a tool chest fell, and it fell right here and right here, and it cracked my orbital socket and through to my sinuses. So that was a frontal facing. And then my third one was a drunk driving accident. I was drinking, and my car went airborne, and it hit down, and it was a convertible. And the second time it hit, the seatbelt came off, and I was thrown up into the windshield, and suffered cut through all the way here and up, and then a subdural hematoma, which was discovered a year later. The fourth one was, I'll be honest, I didn't know the effects of several brain injuries, and I was going out of my mind, like literally going out of my mind. And I tried killing myself. I went and grabbed a bottle of wine, and I downed it, and I threw my vehicle into a field. Rolled 6 times, caught fire, and for some reason, a passerby came by and pulled me out. And after that, I started having really bad cognitive effects, bad seizures, rage episodes, couldn't control anything, was begging people to kill me, slamming my head into things. It was horrible. Absolutely just horrible. And then I had my next one. I did animal rescue and foster, and I had this beautiful little Mustang, and her name was Lady, and she was Greenbroke. Well, okay, she was getting to the point where I could now ride her for short distances. The only issue is she couldn't have Hollywood, the other horse, around her. So I'd asked TJ, my son, to please hold Hollywood in, and while I took Lady out, and he couldn't keep Hollywood in, so Hollywood ran out, and she threw me, and that's where I got this one. It was an injury to my occipital lobe, and that was my last big one. So that's when everything kind of just went crazy, and I realized that I was brain injured, and there were some people that I was very lucky to help me along my way in that, and getting help, understanding and really getting help before I died. Like, that was a big deal. Let's see. Did your ex go to jail for the abuse? No. Here's the thing. I had been raised with pretty severe abuse, so I really wasn't sure what normal was. In my world, it was normal to take a punch. And so I really didn't know. And until we were in Germany, and he actually had gone after one of my kids, the MP finally told me that he could be in single soldier barracks and I could stay in housing. It was rough. My neighbors used to laugh because he'd throw me into walls and the pictures would fall down. It was more of a source of laughter or jokes. And then to think, the thing is I was a foster kid. So there wasn't nowhere, there wasn't anywhere to turn. I was 19 with 2 children. And at the time, before I had my second child, my mother, my biological mother, had gotten a hold of me and was dying of acute leukemia and wanted me to take my other 2 brothers. I wasn't able to because she didn't sign the papers. But it was a really rough thing to be that young, and there was nowhere to go. I was afraid of being homeless with my children. And finally, I got to the point where I was able to come back to the States and be able to at least trip my way along. So grateful you survived. Yeah, me too. And thank you. And I love you. Do I collect disability benefits due to my injuries? Yes and no. I have what's called ABD, which is age blind disabled from the state, but Social Security has rescheduled my hearing yet again. And this has been going on years now. And in all honesty, I hope it comes through soon because otherwise I might be making a home out under the bridge again. Who knows? Like, but you hold on and you hold out hope. And they've got all my doctors, I had a lot of stuff going on. And so they have all that information and things will work out the way they're supposed to, put love and kindness out in the universe, it will come back. And however that is, I still do my work handing out things and I still work on research and I still work on my business. So I mean, I'm a work in progress. Okay, any other questions? I know, right? So that's pretty much it. I'm gonna leave it open for another question if you want. That's beautiful, Kat. Thank you. It's just, it's an issue of autonomy and just waiting, it's a waiting game. And there's so many people, that even have a Social Security that are living homeless. So it's a rough one. And a lot of people have opinions about it, and a lot of people have a lot of anger and hate towards those who like myself. And man, that's tough. That's tough. How did you ever get focused on healing? Many people have never tried. Here's the thing though. My life's focus has always been healing. I don't think that there's ever been a juncture in my life where something hasn't happened that I've needed to heal from. I think it comes by a learning, compassion and empathy for others. Knowing that, number one, you are like, I am not the only one going through these things. There are so many foster kids that were abused and now homeless. There are so many women in domestic violence situations. There are so many women that are having to be with men because they're terrified they can't support their kids. There are so many people riding the edge. There are so many people dealing with suicide. There are so many people dealing with mental illness and physical disabilities and overcoming. There are so many survivors. And if anything, out of what has happened to me, I want to give hope. I want to give everything I have for as long as I can to make it a better world so there'll be less. So there'll be less trauma. So there'll be less people going through this. Because I believe we can change the world. I believe we can save the world if we just all put our heads together and just act with humanity and in the interest of human rights. I truly believe that. Do they have benefits in America, PWs, person with disabilities? Yeah, it's called Social Security, and you just have to. It's tons of applying. You apply, and then you go through a bunch of hearings, and then they reschedule, and then they tell you to wait some more, and then you live under a bridge, and they tell you wait some more. I don't know. The thing is I think if people get lawyers and stuff, it speeds up their stuff. I don't know. I don't know. That's at this juncture keeping myself healthy and keeping hope alive and keeping kindness and compassion and empathy going is my deal. I figure they can work stuff out on their paperwork and when it happens, it'll happen. Like, that's one thing I can't get wrapped up in is what's in the future, because my future is already better than I thought it could be. So I believe that that's going to be the tone, is it's just going to keep getting better. Okay, so I think that's all, and it's been kind of a long broadcast. Yeah, you can go ahead and post the address. Yeah, that's fine. Absolutely. Go ahead and post it. So I think that's all. And I'm going to get off here. And thank you so much for being a part of this. Thank you for listening and love you, sending love. And I will talk with you all later. Have a great day. And I'm going to find, can you tell I still haven't changed the color of my cursor yet?